Okay, joining me this morning, a gentleman that will help me look at the papers this morning. The first person is Prince Tony Ezimo. He's a public affairs analyst. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Danambra.
Okay, and I also have Honorable Moses Ubo. He's also a public affairs analyst. Welcome, Moses.
Good morning, Anambarians. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, my name is Sijoma Uche, so let's go. 2023 elections, electing a president with gender Okay, sorry. We'll move to our website to check the stories there. And the first story there says, Mrs. Soludo calls for sustained enlightenment advocacy against female genital mutilation. And then Soludo asks electorate to vote APGA candidates in coming elections. Lastly, from our website, flooding, a number of West communities receive interventions from UNICEF. Okay, these are many more of the stories coming from our website this morning. Yeah, enlightenment advocacy against female genital mutilation. Let me start with you, Prince Tony. Do we still have something like that existing in our society?
I think we do.
Well, it may not be in my own immediate society or in our Anambra
Socio-religious milieu.
but in some other, places I consider interior places in Nigeria, I think they still practice that. And like the wife of the governor said, there should be constant enlightenment against such because for me that is inhuman. And if you even look at the reasons why they do that, it's against female gender. So there should be constant enlightenment programs to stop it completely, and then there should even be law to make sure that that practice goes into extinction.
All right, thank you very much. Party is supreme, they say, Moses. And now the governor, Soludo, is asking electorates in Anambra State to vote APGA candidates in coming elections.
Yes. He's playing his role properly as a true party man. And ordinarily, as far as Anambra is concerned, and as far as our governor, Soludo, have our total support. Voting APGA candidates in other elective positions, especially in the House of Assembly, will help the smooth running of government. That is the truth of the matter.
Very important.
But he must consider competence. You can vote
Good, because they're in Abuga. Today, Nigerians are yearning for the right people to be in the right position, irrespective of party. So the governor is not correct here. We should be more concerned about voting in men of character, men of competence, and men who have what it takes to bring in
Why will you say the governor is not correct? Do you expect him as a leader of APGA to ask you to go and vote for another party?
Well, I am not expecting him to campaign for another party.
So that's
But at the same time, telling us to vote APGA top to bottom. So we should also vote Justice.
What is wrong in doing that? Let's move on. Let's get to the first paper to be able to buy time this morning. Our first paper this morning is the Daily Sun. And I'd like to first of all look at the story beside the name template, which says federal government awards over 85 billion naira census contract to tech giant Zynos Technologies. Okay, that is that story beside the name template. But the banner headline this morning says Naira crisis widens with some riders. Court bars Buhari CBN from extending February 10 deadline. And then APC governor sue President Malami, asks Supreme Court to stop cashless policy. And then 14 political parties threaten to boycott polls. Maybe we need to know who they are. And down here we'll have this other story, INEC beats of security for sensitive materials. With the rider there, reconfirms redeployment of 1.2 million ad hoc staff. That's showing some strength. Okay, well, for want of time, I think we'll be dwelling on major stories for now. Okay, New National Star. It's our next paper. 28 governors pile up 5.2 trillion debt for successors. Wow. And then with the rider there, Lagos, Kaduna, Rivers State top chart. Very funny. Even the people that have all the money in the world, the state that controls all the money in the country is piling up debt for successors. All right. And then earthquake kills over 2,500 in Turkey. Some stories say 3,500, some say 3,000. But let's see as it goes. Like Akpabio, South Supreme Court affirms Lawan as APC senatorial candidate. As the next story we'll have there, 3 states governors sue federal government CBN over new Naira notes. We have seen that story. So let's go to another paper, Punch newspaper. New Naira, governors, parties begin legal battle over CBN deadline. It does appear that's all we're going to look, or we're going to see today. Okay, let's see if we can get something different from the writers. El-Rufai, Matawale, Yahaya Bello sue federal government, demand extension. The second writer say, court backs party, stop CBN, Buhari from shifting deadline. And then the last one, they say, EFCC naps Abuja bank manager hoarding 29 million naira new notes. Too bad. Okay. World mourns as earthquake killed over 2,700 in Turkey and Syria. This earthquake must never know Nigerian address, please. Daily Independent newspaper. Oh, Naira knows. Court stops CBN Buhari from shifting February 10 deadline. Same old story. Okay, and down here, Nigeria has third highest rate of female genital mutilation. United Nations says that. And then court horse PDP's move to suspend or expel Wike. Yobe North Senatorial District Lawan last Supreme Court affirming him as nominated candidate. Herdsmen in Q3 in Benue community injured 3 soldiers. Ayuba Waba bows out as NLC president after 8 years. Okay, let's get back to where we started and start talking now. Naira crisis. Just this morning, somebody was asking off camera, what is the rate of Naira? Because it does appear that Naira is the only money in the world that is exchanging itself. Somebody said 2,000 to 10,000, and some other person said 3,000. Gentlemen, let me start with you, Moses. Where do we go from here?
That tells us the challenge we have in Nigeria is one of the evils of democracy. Let me use that word. A very beautiful policy being messed up by persons, stakeholders who should drive the policy. As per the policy is a very good one, and Nigeria cannot be retrogressive at this time. Countries all over the world are making progress in their economic policies. Cashless is actually the right way to go. But a good policy at that, and then we see stakeholders, we see bank managers, we see persons who should help drive this policy to make it productive and achieve the desired goal. We see them hoarding the currency. And then we equally want the CBN to roll out. There should be more sensitization and proper orientation at this time. Let's see what are the plans in place to protect these SMEs, the small business owners, the POS operators, the Isuzu, whatever. All this micro aspect of the economy are the drivers of every economy. So what are they actually doing in that direction? We want Nigerians generally to at least exercise patience with the CBN, and then let's see how to at least make gains out of this beautiful policy. And then EFCC, ICPC, they should be on their toes at this time. Because beyond telling us those who are arrested, those who are caught, banks who are into malpractices and all of that, we want to see people being held responsible for messing up the system.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Priest Tony, why the governors, APC governors are suing the president and then other people, court is also has given order that this Naira cashless deadline should not be extended.
I want Nigerians to ask these governors who are suing the federal government for implementing this type of monetary policy. The Nigerians should ask them, how many of them sued the federal government when Nigerian students were on strike for 1 year?
Exactly.
How many of them even spoke against their government? Because it is their government. And this is like what the Bible said, the house that is divided against itself shall never stand. I think God is about to rescue Nigerians. See, the current, or rather the effect of the current monetary policy is affecting all of us. And do you know why I'm happy? It is affecting the elites. And that is why they are now talking. They are now going to court against their own government. What they never did when the entire Nigerian students were at home for a full year. El-Rufai never said anything. The young man in Kogi, whom ordinarily most of us who are younger say that a young man has become a governor, eventually became a colossal failure. He never said anything when fellow young people were at home. Now, because the policy is against their cash and carry policy, politics, they are now going to see Buhari to compel him to shift, in fact, to abolish the new Naira note. All of them now are against the central bank governor, whom ordinarily was supposed to even be their colleague, because there was a time the CBN governor was planning to become the presidential candidate of APC, and none of them spoke against him. Now, the policy that I don't know how they come about it, and in fact, God decided to punish everybody at once so that we maybe after election all of us will be
because
free.
It's even possible that even the Emefiele never knew what was coming.
Exactly.
Okay, he just wanted to do something and get away with
Somebody
it.
Somebody was saying, I think one of the governors, okay, it was El-Rufai that said that Emefiele deceived Buhari with this current redesigning of Naira. So I think personally,
it is affecting me, but I'm happy that for the first time in history of Nigeria, the elites are crying more than even the masses.
Yes.
So it's a,
the rich also
nice
cries. Okay, let's take it further and see what we're going to benefit from the court order that this Naira cashless Naira policy should not be extended. What do we stand to gain, Moses?
I see. Let us not extend the evil day. It's better now. That court order is a very good one. A very good one. Barring CBN, Buhari, and what have you from making any further extension. At least now the people are feeling the heat quite all right. And I know in coming days the pressure will die down while the apparatus of government go into the field to make sure that the stakeholders, the economic policy stakeholders, are right there and on time to do things the way it should. At least let's see queues reduce in ATM machines. Let's see persons who are into small scale businesses, and let's see them have access to their funds, at least within the benchmark stipulated by the CBN. At least I believe in coming days. And then we encourage the people going cashless is actually a good one. Go into the banks, interact with your customer care agents, and then see what you can make out of it. The mobile app, while I see most people complaining, is because of this USSD. The USSD usually is a very tough process. But if you can at least upgrade to a higher extent, most Nigerians today use Android phones, especially in cities. So let's step up, please. Let's go. Use mobile apps. I believe it will ameliorate most of these challenges we face today.
Very important. Okay, let's move on, gentlemen. I wanted us to dwell more on this because it does appear he's trending. He appeared in all the papers. But now we have another story coming down here. INEC beefs up security for sensitive materials with a rider there reconfirms the deployment of 1.2 ad hoc staff. Okay, recently we see a lot of INEC facilities being raised down. Okay, and then some of us were asking, of course, the last one that happened, we had a very good news that this vault where they kept some cards, that then no matter what the fire did there, it didn't get to that place. So we are asking, since you know that this is trending, why don't you make adequate security arrangements to ensure that these offices are not burnt down? And now they're telling us they have beefed up security.
Impressive, because one of our greatest problems in this country today is insecurity. And a society that is insecure is completely gone. Some days ago, in my own area, there was an attack on the police post in Njikoka, in Abadan, and a number of these local security men were killed. And when I spoke with the council chairman, chairman, Honorable Agui, he told me that he believed that the attack was actually targeted on his council headquarters and then INEC office. But as God may have it, they were repelled, and but unfortunately a number of persons were killed, and they were eventually they were able to burn down parts of the police station in Abadan. So what am I trying to say? The security of lives and property should be the utmost, it should be the priority of every government, especially the state government at this time. I would have blamed terribly the local government chairman, but you see, in our environment, they don't have the funds because there is no local government election, so they are just being paid and stuff like that. Assuming they are completely in charge of the fund, then we can begin to even blame them before we talk about the governor and all that. So the security of these government agencies, the structures and all that is very, very important, as well as the securing the citizens. So there's need to help INEC to continue to beef up the security around their destiny until after election and even beyond the election.
Okay, you may want to say something.
Yes,
Moses?
INEC have not lived up to expectation. To he who much is given, much is expected. They are the umpire at this time, a neutral third-party umpire that should know the right thing to do and how to do it. I wonder if I say that the security system in Nigeria is weak, then I think that should be the right thing to say. Because how long shall we continue being reactive in this country? We wait for things to happen and we start running around with all the crises all over, all the security breaches all over, and then INEC is telling us today that they are beefing up. Are you beefing up? In the last count, over hundreds of offices belonging to INEC had been touched. Police stations are being touched on the dailies. Is it that we lack manpower or we lack resources? What's the challenge?
Moses,
we wait for things to happen and then...
In this case, what do you expect INEC to do? To import mercenaries from outside this country? As if all of us are not, maybe, let me use the word, benefits of the security situation, general security situation in this country.
The last time I checked, INEC released their budget running into billions for both logistics and what have you in relation to the forthcoming election. And I believe security is top-notch on that. So by now, we should see obvious security presence in INEC offices.
From the same general security situation that we experience in the country.
That is the problem. Let me tell you, do you know in Southeast, policemen are now hiding to identify themselves as policemen because of what some of us glorified in the past, when it was beginning. Some of us were glorifying it, kill policemen, burn everywhere down. At the end of the day, there was nobody to secure us anymore. I tell you, there's no security policeman in Anambra that will want to publicly identify that he's a policeman. In fact, if anything happens, police are usually the first people to run away. In Njikoka, before this thing happened, we had a meeting with the chairman, and he told us that police people called him to tell him to find a way to secure his council headquarters. And the police station is directly opposite the local government headquarters. That was why the day that it happened, it was local vigilante, the local government organized, that were able to repair those people.
Okay, were those boys killed at the local governments? Yes,
now they were killed at a KP police station, filling station, just a stone throw away from the local government headquarters. And unfortunately, that day I even drove past them. And I was with one of my friends who wanted to start, because majority of them are from Abadan, if all are not even from Abadan, all right? So my friend is from Abadan. So he wanted to start identifying his people. I told him, please, I don't like staying anywhere there is any checkpoint. I don't like staying. Less than 30 minutes, we just drove from there to this Amobia flyover. He was called to be told that there was an attack there. So that is the kind of situation we are in this country, where security people cannot even secure themselves. So the problem is societal. All of us are contributors in this thing, because when this whole rubbish was starting, we were praising some of it.
I'm not a monk. Okay. From the National Star, we got the story: 28 governors pile up 5.8 trillion debt for successors with a ride at Lagos, Kaduna, and Rivers. Top stays, topping the charts. So what are we left out with this? People, creating difficult ground for their successors to take off.
You see, that is why till today we keep talking about the government of Mr. P2B, that instead of leaving debt, left assets for the government. Nowadays, all over, check the scenario, even the Nigerian state itself is borrow and squander, borrow and squander. At the end of the day, with little or nothing to show for it. So it's not news. Tell me, when the new government comes into power, what will they work with? What do you think they will do? It's the same chain of borrowing. They will go out there and still borrow more. And then at the end of the day, these are persons who know how best to run their personal companies, businesses, and institutions. And then when it comes to government business, you see persons running it aground. You borrow beyond what you can sustain. And then most of the time, we even wonder, all these monetary institutions that give out this fund, is it that because it's government, you now go out of your way and make money available beyond the threshold, beyond what it should be? So it's equally a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call. Yes, we know government is sustainable, and that is why it's continuity. So that is why every now and then they believe every government is viable. Tell me, why will Nigeria go and keep borrowing and borrowing? Why will this state go? So there are areas we should look into. The monetary policy in this country and all of it should be overhauled. Because if as an individual I want to borrow money from the bank, there are guidelines, there are regulations, there are requirements I must meet before that will be allowed. The same thing applicable to companies, the same thing applicable. So why is it that when it comes to government, we help things to go bad?
Too bad. Okay, let's move on, gentlemen. Let's move on. Daily Independent is our next paper. The banner headline is saying the same thing we have looked at. That's the story I want us to take off from there. Court horse PDP's move to suspend or expel Wike. Wike has been trending with his G5 or 5G.
He went to court finally.
And now he's afraid of being expelled from PDP. I actually thought he wanted to leave. The way he was fighting his party, I thought he wanted to, shift to another party.
No. He never wanted to leave.
He never said he would leave. Remember, he continuously tell Rivers people that he will be in PDP and fight from within. He has always said that. And he will always tell you that from 1999, he has always been a PDP man, and he has contributed more, according to him, more than every other person in PDP today, including their presidential candidate, according to him.
Maybe that's why this.
I know that Wike will not. Well, Nigerian politicians, they are very dynamic. They can always cross and all that, but I'm not seeing Wike's type of person coming to APC. Because if he joins APC, where is he going to stand? At the back or in the front? If it is in the front of who? Remember that his nature is not the type that anybody will want him to be either his assistant or whatever. Because his nature is so riotous, so confrontational, and very, very. In fact, Wike is a ninth wonder of the world. So I don't know whom he is even currently supporting at the presidential election, because he keeps playing with words and playing with the intelligence.
And it does appear that one has been overtaken, because I don't know how many people he wants to put to his side. Everybody must have made up his mind where he wants to go concerning the upcoming election.
I don't know. Wike, but one thing I know he must do is to make sure that whoever that succeeds him as the governor is his candidate. Okay. Because if that does not happen, Wike is finished politically.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move over to the Nation's newspaper and take this story down here. because recently we know that, what they call it, Jagaban, that's Tinubu, has been accusing the presidency of trying to truncate his ambition of becoming Nigerian president. Okay, and now there's this story that says Katsina, Buhari seeks 2 million votes for Tinubu, with a rider there, terrorists will be defeated, says APC candidates. Okay, so now I don't think I've seen the president move around with the trend of Buhari for campaign, but he is saying this in Katsina. That means he has joined the, is it because of the fight or because of the attack that is coming from the Tinubu side to him that is not supporting him?
Even when you observe, that might be what people see as integrity in the part of President Buhari. That might be what that integrity underscores. Even when you see him in the rally ground, even the last time, I believe he was in Nasarawa, when you listen to him talk, you discover that he is not campaigning for Tinubu verbatim. He's not doing that. He's encouraging the people to go out there and do the right thing. So, and that's a statesman. That's an aspect of him that I'm in love with.
But that hasn't been the case all the while, Prince Tony. It hasn't been the case all the while, because I know how president campaigned for their successors, okay, to make sure that their party will win Aso Rock again.
General Buhari has fulfilled his lifetime ambition.
Becoming
That is
Nigerian
becoming
president.
Nigerian president. I doubt if he's interested in APC. I doubt if he's interested in Ahmed Bola Tinubu. He has fulfilled his lifetime ambition, and that is, I think that is what matters to him. Like Honorable said, listen to his speeches. He has never for once campaigned for Tinubu. He will, in fact, in what happened in Nasarawa, he said Nigerians, and his speech there was very, very short. He said Nigerians should vote the right people. They should not allow money bags, corrupt people to take over any constituency. And he said, I am leaving to some other place. That was just that. He dropped the microphone and left. So, for me, I think the general has fulfilled his lifetime ambition, and that is what matters to him. And again, maybe, remember his interview in London with BBC of recent, where he said, when he was talking about this current monetary policy, when he said there is no going back, and that if that is the only legacy he's leaving for Nigeria, that is okay with it. So, like you said, Nigerians will forgive all his sins if he's able to conduct a presidential election that is free, fair, and credible. And Nigerians will be more pleased, I am sure, if his party fails that election.
Okay, I'm actually looking for that story where Dogara was saying that North should be allowed to rule 14 years to equate with that of the South before, what they call it, before the mantle could go back to the South. That's exactly what I was looking for, but I couldn't see it, immediately. Okay, and why I want to bring that in is, do you think what the president is doing is not deliberate, because there's this skirmishes here and there that the North will want to retain power by supporting Atiku of the PDP to become the president, so that the authority will still remain in the North?
Well, it's very, very possible. I've always told people, if you study Nigeria very well from the time of even pre-independence, you see that the Northerners are masters in the game of politics. And unfortunately, we'll be looking at them as Ndena Macharive or whatever. But when it comes to the game of politics, they are masters. And again, they have a cultural setting where they listen to their leaders. Remember that Wike would have been the presidential candidate of PDP if Tambuwal had not stepped down for Atiku. And we were told that it was a prominent emir in the north that called Tambuwal just when they were already in the convention. Remember that Tambuwal had already given his speech. He had already told the masses and PDP delegates that he is strongly still in the game. When he sat down, he received a call, and we were told that it was one emir from the north that called him to step down for Atiku, and he did that. So that tells you that these people are very, very articulate
when it comes
when,
to
when they're playing politics. So what you are saying, what you are insinuating is not completely out of order. It's possible that they're playing Northern card. It's possible.
Okay. Our last story this morning will come from Daily Trust. Naira fuel crisis could hamper Nigerian elections. This one is coming from World Bank. Do you see anything stopping this election? We haven't seen the willpower of the president and that of the INEC chairman to ensure that this election holds. Quickly, please, before we go.
The only thing that can stop this election is the people. So I want Nigerians to please stand in and let's get it right at this time. I believe in coming days, just like the president assured that in coming days the fuel crisis will be nipped in the bud. Okay. So if that happened, I believe logistics will be properly taken care of. Then elections will hold. Let our people shun any form of fear, or these people sending fears all over social media. Let's stop that and encourage our people to come out and do the right thing. Earlier on, we were talking about not playing the Northern card and what have you. Now, it is no longer about who gets what. It's about Nigeria. It's about the soul of Nigeria. Let's get it right this time. It's not about ethnicity. It's not about religion. Okay. It's not about whatever. Let's get it right.
Very important. Thank you very much, Honorable Moses Ugbo. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Prince Tony Ezimo, for coming too.
Thank you.
All right, I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, very dearly, and I must tell you that I enjoy staying with you this morning. My name is Sijama. Let's do it again.